Hi there, welcome back to the Fed Talks. My name's Nathan Hall, and today we're going to be talking about the levels of retail crime, its impact on our members and their members of staff, and how proposed legislation might make matters even worse. We're joined by the Fed's National President Mo Razzaq today. Mo, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Wonderful. Good to have you on. So here at the Fed, we've recently launched a series of campaigns which focus on the issues that have a big impact on our members' stores. And the first of these topics is retail crime, which is a bit of a hot topic at the minute. What can you tell us about these campaigns and what are the different topics that the Fed's looking at helping members on?
Hi, Nathan. We've launched a campaign which will cover 5 different topics, which we know are concerned to our members. And they are retail crime, illicit trade, minimum wage, deposit return scheme, and energy costs. The first was launched on the 1st of October and was focused on the level of rising crime suffered by the retailers, whether it's shoplifting, break-ins, theft, damage, verbal abuse against our staff, or physical assault, threats, or attacks.
Thanks, Mo. So retail crime and threats against our members of staff, it's something that's constantly been highlighted by retailers and it seems to be getting worse. What are the key facts that we need to understand about the situation?
Firstly, the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, recently described the rising levels of retail crime and abuse of shop workers as truly shocking. He pledged to go further to tackle this problem and make those on the shop floor feel a lot safer. According to the BRC, that's the British Retail Consortium, crime survey in 2024, incidents of violence and abuse stood at 1,300 incidents a day. That's 475,000 incidents a year, which is quite incredible. We welcome the introduction of the proposed legislation aimed at protecting shop workers and staff from thefts and attacks. The King's Speech confirmed that assaulting a shop worker will become a standalone offence, and the government have announced that it will tackle shoplifting and scrap the so-called unofficial £200 rule that impacts further investigations. With the Fed having campaigned long and hard with the government and pleased to get tougher on retail crime, it is a relief that this bill is back on the table. But the real action needs to be to stem the tide of crime against retailers and their staff. Everyone deserves to feel safe at work and for their businesses to be protected. Our shop workers also need to be protected because it is having a severe impact on their mental health.
Yeah, those numbers you mentioned, more are truly crazy. You mentioned about the government; it's a priority there for them, which is good to hear. Does that mean that we can expect things to move a little faster?
Hopefully so. We will wait and see. However, the concern is that the government's also reviving plans to phase out smoking and vaping through a progressive ban to gradually end the illegal sale of tobacco products across the country is a concern. To create a smoke-free generation, this legislation will see legal smoking age increase from year to year every year. This means that children born on the 1st of January 2009 will never be ever able to purchase tobacco products legally. I know Fed members are fundamentally in favour of measures to improve public health and can relieve some of the burden on our National Health Service. This proposed legislation could subject our retailers and our members to even greater levels of violence, abuse and theft. A BRC 24 survey report also revealed that asking for proof of age is one of the biggest triggers for verbal abuse and violence towards shop workers. This proposed generational ban will make such checks far more frequent, harder to assess, and age differences are more difficult to visualise because trying to judge a person who is 30 or 31 is very difficult and so forth. Secondly, we struggle to understand how this will work as we don't have a national identity card. And to add to the confusion, those people who no longer legally buy tobacco will still be allowed to purchase any other age-restricted product, such as alcohol.
Yeah, I think the best way to describe it more is that it seems like a bit of a minefield and something that's going to make life a bit harder for our members. Does that mean that what can we expect when a customer can no longer legally buy tobacco in a store?
Well, that's our biggest worry. The concern is growth in the illicit trade. But that apologies, the National Business Crime Centre, recently stated that the demand for stolen and counterfeit tobacco is set to increase dramatically as a result of increased tax in tobacco products, and the proposed generational ban. This could lead to our members facing even greater levels of retail crime, as criminals will seek to supply the extra demand for illicit goods. So retail crime levels will get much higher as demand will shift from legal suppliers such as ourselves to illicit suppliers such as organised criminals who will step up to really supply the demand that is sitting there.
It makes the matter seem a whole lot worse, Mo. I know on the topic of retail crime, we as a federation asked our members to complete a short survey on the topic. Could you give us an idea of what our members were saying and their general thoughts?
Yeah, the results were quite plain and showed overwhelmingly what our members feel. We asked during the 12 months, has your store suffered from an impact of retail crime? 72% said yes. Have you or all your staff been threatened or suffered abuse when checking proof of age? Almost half said yes. Have you or your staff been threatened or faced abuse for refusing to sell age-restricted products to customers buying for a minor? Over 40% yes said yes. We also asked, should tougher sentences or penalties be given to offenders? A massive 90% said yes. And finally, we asked, should there be more police patrols on the street? 91% yes, it said yes. So from these simple questions, you can see how much impact this has on our members. The government need to act, and also why the proposed bans on tobaccos and vapes could actually make the problem far worse for retailers.
I mean, Mo, those numbers are quite overwhelming, to be fair, aren't they? What on the back of that, what are the next steps for us as a federation, and what do we recommend for retailers to do next?
Well, the federation will be publishing these results with our findings, and we will sharing them with the trade retail press and the other associations. We hope that this information highlights the issues on existing retail crime, and also we will ask on behalf of our members that the proposed ban on tobaccos and vapes be fully considered, and they have discussions with the federations and explore how they can be developed further. And certainly before any new legislation is implemented, we reiterate the fact that they need to sit down with us and talk to us, because we can make it workable, they can't. Since the ban on single-use vapes has just been announced for June 2025, we have a major concern on customers being pushed to illicit channels for this product. Public health must always be a major priority for all, and cannot be delivered at the cost of increased threats to shop workers and a spike in illicit trade by organised crime. Any retailer who wants to make their own voice heard, then they'll contact their MP, speak to your local PCC, that's your local crime and police commissioner, and there'll be details attached below. In November, we will be running the next campaign in our Fed magazine and e-shots, and there'll be further topics of illicit trade, and also urge our members to take part in this. As an incentive, anyone who responds to the survey will be entered into a prize draw for £300.
Okay, well, thanks Mo for joining us, first of all, for sharing that insight and our findings. Clearly some good news in that the government have expressed their commitment to protecting retailers and shop workers, but equally there's some massive risks that are yet to be considered. And if they implement other policies that are also proposed, like you said, details are going to be on the screen on how retailers can take further steps. But please keep following the Fed's communication channels, print and digital, for further updates on key topics affecting retailers. Thanks for joining us, Mo, and to all the retailers watching, thanks for tuning in, and keep your eyes peeled for the next episode.
Thank you.